Alright guys, hello and welcome to the mentorship. Firstly, I'd like to say a huge thank you to everybody who is here. I'm extremely honoured and humbled to be a part of this journey with you guys. Because I want to keep the actual mentorship as short and concise as possible, I want to use this introduction as an opportunity for us to get onto the same page to really understand what the mentorship is about, what to expect from the mentorship. I get swamped with questions on a daily basis, and you're going to have many questions throughout the course of the mentorship. Write the questions down and try to stick with it, because everybody's going to be at different stages throughout their journey. My job here is to really cut down your learning curve, and going through many years of learning ICT concepts, the experience and knowledge that I've gained, I can now share that. And being a student of ICT, it puts me in a little bit more of a different position, because I'm learning a concept that I can now teach you guys. You see, Michael's the author of it, and these are his concepts. It's something that he's created, and it's 30 years worth of experience that he's basically putting out there, and it's a lot of really dense material, and it can become very overwhelming. When I first started with ICT, not many people had even known about him back then, and there wasn't much information apart from actually learning on his courses or some of the YouTube material that he had out. The disadvantage was I had to learn it the hard way, but then the advantage I have was looking around social media now. There's so much false information out there. I get dozens of questions all the time about trying to clarify what somebody else has said regarding ICT's concepts, and it's just confusing a lot of people. One of the main reasons of creating this mentorship and this academy is to really leave the toxic environment of social media and create an environment where we all respect one another, and we're all learning, we're all on the same journey, and I just want to do my best to really help and educate as best as I can. ICT has 30 years of experience with these concepts. These are his creation, and he is the author of the concepts. I am in no way, shape, or form claiming to have created these concepts. These concepts are not my own. They are the concepts of my mentor, ICT. I'm just super passionate about trading. I'm super passionate about learning. I'm a student for life in this game. I study every single day still. But to really get an understanding about what to expect in this mentorship and where you should be focusing on, the best way to really do that is to speak about my own experiences, where I started, the sticking points, the pitfalls, the pros, the cons, the adversities, almost giving up countless times. It's not been an easy path to get to where I am. I've really only been profitable in the last year or so, maybe just over a year. I was a break-even trader for quite a while, and again, I learned so much whilst being a break-even trader. I learned what worked for me and what didn't, and of course, it's not going to be the same for everybody, but I can really shorten your learning curve about pointing you in the right direction, about this is where you want to spend your time. And I spent months and months looking at the wrong things or delving into the wrong things, and I'd end up with a lot of dead ends and more questions that weren't answered. And what you want to do is just really try to focus on some of the things I'm going to be teaching in the mentorship. I want to make it as concise as possible, hence why I'm using this introduction to really get a good foundation. I promise it's not going to be like this in the actual mentorship. One of the issues that I had learning under ICT is it would be 30 minutes of a rant or digressing, 5-10 minutes of really good material, and then another 20 minutes of digression. And I ended up losing my focus. I lost the purpose of what that lecture was about. So I don't want to repeat those mistakes with my own mentorship. So I'm going to be a little bit more formal in the way I approach it. and a little bit more, to the point with it. So I want to be myself a little bit in this introduction, because you guys are learning from me, and I guess with all the questions that I get about people asking me about my own personal journey, this is probably the best place for me to really, really delve into that. I started around 5 years ago. What was it? It's 2000, late 2017 is when I was introduced to trading. I purchased a course for around £100 on trend lines, believe it or not. And yes, that is more expensive than the whole price of the academy right now. And I quickly found that this doesn't work. There's, support and resistance ideas, or why hasn't that level held as resistance or that level held as support? And from there I ended up another dozen courses on Ichimoku, Elliott waves, all kinds of things that you can think of. I have EMAs, indicators. My charts were absolutely covered in indicators. And I quickly realized that there has to be something more to it. In the books, they teach you, you place your stop here, and that stop would always get hit. And that was a light bulb moment for me straight off the bat, because I realized, well, if the books are teaching you to place your stop losses here, then everybody's going to have their stop losses here. And that was like my first sort of insight into discovering that the markets must be manipulated somehow. Cut a long story short, after around 6 months, I think it was maybe early mid 2018, where I ended up out with some uni friends and seen for a number of years. And as you do when you're with your mates, you're complaining about wife and kids and life and whatnot. And trading got into it, and I'm speaking to one of my friends, telling him about, I think that the markets are controlled, manipulated. He had done a bit of trading himself, and I said that there's something isn't right. None of these indicators work. I've spent thousands of pounds now on courses, and nothing's working for me. And as fate would have it, he started talking about a guy called ICT, Michael Huddleston, and he had recently joined his mentorship program. And what he actually said to me was, he's kind of crazy, but his stuff seems to be quite good. He talks about how the markets are manipulated, and as fate would have it, my friend at the time was going back to uni. He had started off an aesthetics business and wanted to become a prescriber, decided that it was time for him to go back to uni. And cut a long story short, he asked me, do you want to use my login details for his mentorship? Now, I'm sorry, Michael, if you are listening. I did make up for it by eventually purchasing the mentorship myself. But of course, if somebody's going to give you a free pass to Michael's mentorship, you're going to take it. But the issue that I had with doing that is I got thrown straight into the deep end. Like, I was going through his mentorship material and his core content, and I was absolutely lost. The advantage that I had with being able to have the access to the mentorship was that his commentary teachings on a weekly basis, where he was analyzing the markets, that's where my learning really excelled. But of course, I didn't really understand what he was talking about in the beginning. I ended up back through YouTube, going through his free stuff dozens of times, back through his core content dozens of times, and then I really ended up finding my way in about, I think, maybe a year and a half, 2 years after it, when, many of you probably aren't aware, but Michael started talking about that he was going to stop the mentorship. And at which point I decided, look, even though the account I was using can now become chartered, I felt bad, realistically, for not purchasing or paying for that course myself. And it wasn't my account. If my friend ever wanted it back, I would have lost access to it. So I decided, since he was closing the mentorship, to really pay for it myself. And a very long story with that, but the person who gave me that course ended up helping me in my own aesthetics business as well, and now I'm helping him again to trade ICT concepts. But it's another story. I'm going to leave that for another time. So mid 2018, early to mid 2018 is when I started learning ICT concepts, and in that time, like, I've learned a huge amount, and I learned that it's an extremely big puzzle. In order for you to ask the right questions, you have to answer the question that you currently have. And once you answer it, it will leave you with another 2 or 3 questions. And when you answer them, it will lead you with another 2 or 3 questions. And that's the rabbit hole. And it gets deeper and deeper. And your understanding, with each question that you answer, your understanding deepens. And those barriers start falling down. But it's very incremental. It takes a long time, especially if you're not looking in the right places. And this is what my job is in this mentorship, is really to focus your attention in the right places. And I really want to use a mentorship to build on narrative building skills, on how to determine bias, of points of liquidity, points of interest, where the market is likely to move, as well as amplifying some of the teachings on the academy lectures. Those academy videos, they were a culmination of hundreds and hundreds of hours of work. You see, ICT never made a concept and just put everything out in one place. It was bitty, it was all over the place. And I went through absolutely everything from his YouTube, mentorship, chartership, Telegram, Twitter, everything that he had, his SoundCloud, some of the old podcasts he's got in his SoundCloud. I've been through everything. He puts things everywhere. You can talk about an order block and it will be over dozens of different videos, and it's your job to piece it all together. And I remember in one of the commentaries, ICT said that he's done this on purpose. He's purposely spread everything out because he wants you to work for it. So what I decided to do is just to really take all the important parts of each concept and compact them into a short little video where it'd have all the major points that you needed to understand that concept. Now, like I said, I'm no ICT, and these are 100% his material, it's his concepts. I'm just a student who's extremely fascinated with how the algorithms work. I'm extremely passionate about trading and extremely passionate about teaching. Your success here is my success, and I'm extremely grateful for you all to trust me enough to want to teach you. We've kept the course, and we've kept the academy and the mentorship program to a minimum. You know, this isn't realistically for the money for us. Of course, there's a lot of it going towards helping the project develop, and with the state of the crypto market right now and the NFT market, it is a long-term project. My job here is with the trading and the mentorship. I don't really get too involved with the NFT side. I don't really understand the NFT side very well, if I'm going to be honest with you. But the trading is my domain and it's my area. I want to make it perfectly clear that this is going to require work on your part. I am not promising you profitability. I think it'd be immature of any mentor to really promise that you're going to make money in these markets. It's going to be down to you as an individual. The best I can do is point you in the right direction and do my best to cut down your learning curve, and after that is all on you. Every one of us is going to be unique in our own personalities, and we're going to view the market differently. And this is one of the beautiful things about trading. There's some sort of artistry to it because it's all personal for each and every one of us. And I'm hoping many of you will surpass me one day. You know, I'd love that. This is not an ego thing whatsoever. I get a buzz, a genuine buzz out of when you guys do well. This is also going to take time, and you have to detach yourself, especially in the beginning. You have to detach yourself from making money. The money will come inevitably as a byproduct of your hard work. The more effort and energy you put into this, the more effort you put into backtesting and journaling, which every single one of you should be doing, is backtest, journal everything. Journal your good trades, your bad trades, and that will build the foundations of you understanding where the good trades are going to happen and where the bad trades are going to happen. And that's your foundations, and from there you build on it. And this is what my intention here with the mentorship is to point your eyes in the right direction, because this is where you want to focus on. And it's something that ICT didn't really do with us in his mentorship. And don't get me wrong, it was fantastic, but a lot of the times he digressed so much you would lose the point. How I'm going to basically take it going forward is I want to analyze the previous week's price action and then forecast the next week's price action, what could potentially happen. And going really the best way to teach a mentorship is in hindsight. Unfortunately, it's the only way you can really do it. Obviously, with forecasting future analysis, but in order to forecast future analysis, you have to understand what price is already done. So when you work that one out, and that was a huge sticking point for me, was understanding that in order to work out what price is going to do, you have to work out what price is already done. Where has price come from? Where is it likely to go? Where's our points of interest in the higher time frames? Obviously, going through the academy, you should understand by now what our model looks like. So I won't be really reteaching any of the stuff that's already in the academy. That's taken me a long time to do. So I need to get back in sync with the markets when we start the mentorship. I haven't really been looking much at charts during the course of all of August. August is a quiet time anyway for trading, and what you're going to find is there's going to be certain times of the year, seasonal influences, what the intermarket relationships are doing, what the bonds are doing. There's a huge picture that you end up painting, and that's how you end up with your actual bias. Now, bias is a hard thing to come to. Realistically, we have three different things that we need to learn. What's the market going to do? Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? Or is it going to consolidate? Think like an algorithm. Understanding that the markets work based on an algorithm and trying to think like that algorithm was a very huge milestone in my development as a trader. You see, my background is I've been a qualified pharmacist for the last decade. When the penny dropped for me was in the middle of COVID once. I was writing a prescription for a patient, and you have to go through these cascade of different questions, and the yes or the no's or the true or the false statements based on each of those questions, you're going to arrive at this conclusion. From there, it got me thinking that why don't I look at price the same way? And if you start thinking of the market in a series of if-then functions, that if this happens and this could happen, or if this happens and this can happen. And that was huge for me, because it would allow me to look at market structure, it would allow me to look at price. And many times, like, I can be wrong in my direction and still make profit out of it, because I'm understanding, like, say for example, I'm a very short-term trader, I'm a very short-term scalper. And in the mentorship, I'm going to try to establish and predict what the weekly range is likely to do. And all we're looking for is that expansion move on the weekly, from that weekly range. If we get in sync with the expansion move, we can go into the lower time frames and we can hunt our entries and our setups. Sometimes we can be wrong on that weekly move, but when we're at the lower time frames, we can capitalize on understanding if the market's gonna do this, or if the market does this, then this is the likely outcome. So we can get back in sync on the lower time frame sometimes, and you'll find that the whole trading experience, you have to operate in a gray area. There is nothing that's certain in trading, and we're never going to 100% understand what the algorithm wants to do because it's extremely complicated. So what we do is we wait, and you learn patience, and that's one of the most important things, because realistically, when you've made your internal algorithm of what your model looks like and what price is likely to do, there's only three real things that you're going to do. You're going to buy, you're going to sell, or you're going to wait. And that waiting, you're going to do more than the buying and the selling. So it's extremely important to know what you're looking for. You have to understand, why am I waiting? What am I waiting for? And in order to do that, you have to understand and ask yourself the questions: where has price come from? Where is it likely to go? You know, what's the economic news drivers that are about to come out? What day of the week are we? What time of the day are we? Do you understand? So that's what you backtest. That's what you journal. That's where you focus your attention. You need to go back through your charts and say, okay, well, when was the highs and the lows made? What days of the week? What times of the day? There's many different things that you're going to start piecing together, and your journal is where all of this information is, where you want to document it, and you want to be as detailed as you can. I'm going to be dropping one video a week initially on a Monday evening. and that will give me at least Monday's trading behind me to give me some indication of where market's likely to go for the remainder of the week. Sometimes I'll be right, sometimes I'll be wrong, and I have absolutely no problem with being wrong. We're waiting for our setups to form, and if I'm wrong, the market's going to show me that I'm wrong, and if I don't see my setup because I'm wrong, then I don't take a trade. So one of the problems that I had earlier on is this fear of being wrong. And at one point I was so crippled by it that I couldn't get myself into a trade. And most of those trades ended up being winners. But I just couldn't force myself to enter a trade because I just didn't want to be wrong. This is why we have stop losses and risk managements. We're going to be wrong. Every single one of us, myself, even ICT himself gets it wrong quite often. You know, there's times where I've had it right and ICT's had it wrong. And, you know, he's obviously better than I am, but we're going to have it wrong, all of us, at some point. So we have to make peace with that we're going to be wrong. We operate in a grey area, we operate in a market of probabilities, and our job is to find out when that market is in its highest probability to go into the direction that we have basically arrived at that conclusion of our overall bias. Is it going to go up, is it going to go down, or is it going to consolidate? The algorithm is very limited into the things that it can do. It's going to go into a consolidation phase, an expansion phase, a retracement, or a reversal. And then it's in our job, once we understand all of that, where are we in that cycle? Are we going to consolidate? Are we going to go down? Are we going to go up? So realistically, our job as traders is not that hard. They're the three things that it all boils down to. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to teach you guys what to look for and how we basically do that. I can't promise any of you that you're going to make a lot of money in trading. There are so many different factors involved, and the truth is, psychology plays a massive role. I can't really teach you psychology. You know, you have to figure that one out. You have to know yourself as a person, as an individual, and what trading will teach you, and especially something over these 4 or 5 years that I've learned, is a huge amount about myself. Things that I didn't even realize about my own personality, and how that's actually affected me in my personal life, in my relationships, in how I handle situations. And trading is going to change you. It's going to change you as a person. Some things you're going to find that you don't like about yourself. You know, some things that you didn't realize that this is a part of who I am, and you have to get comfortable with that because you have to know yourself. Are you greedier than you think you are? You know, are you impatient? Are you going to get angry and revenge trade? Because I did that a lot. I did that a lot, and I learned from it. And this is the point: is that you have to learn from the mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to lose money. You're going to. It's inevitable. The idea is to learn from that. Journal it, log it, and you go again. And eventually you will get it. Eventually, if you take the timing element out of this and how long it's going to take you to do it, you'll eventually get it. If you're going to force it and say, I need to do this and learn it all within the next 3 months, within the next 6 months, you're putting a huge amount of pressure on you for something that actually can't really be predicted because it's different for everybody. So my best advice here while you're in this mentorship is just relax. Just let the content deliver itself. Backtest journal. There'll be a lot of drills. There'll be a lot of me training your eyes of where you want to look at. And you're going to journal and document. There's going to be some homework involved. And you're going to hopefully do something every day. Just a small amount, half an hour, an hour. Take that little bit of time out of your day and just go and review the charts. Go back through the previous day's charts, pick one pair, and I think this is how everybody should do it, is pick one pair that you like to trade. My two favorite pairs are Euro and the S&P, so they're the two that I'm going to focus on in this mentorship. So you've got the index and the FX market. I'll throw some Bitcoin and some crypto in there as well. Although from my experience, they don't move as predictably as the FX, the bonds, and the index market. Outside of ICT's mentorship, this is the best place for you to be. just allow yourself time. There are some fantastic people in this group already, and a huge shout out to the Elite 66. We've made a really good close community in there, and they will become absolute monsters in trading. Absolutely certain of it. It's just going to take a little bit of time. And now I'm super excited to start this mentorship. I'm super grateful for you all to be here. And I really want to just deliver as best as I can. I really want to help you guys succeed in this. Times are getting hard, and I realize why ICT has put so much stuff out for free on his YouTube, because he's always been ahead of the game. He's predicted things years before things have happened, and what he knows, where he knows his information, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm certain that times are about to get a lot harder. And this is why I want to really help cut down that learning curve, so at least there's another stream of income that can come into the household. Like, there's many people on the mentorship that have like different levels of experience with ICT concepts. Some are absolutely brand new, and some have been doing it for a number of years. Some of you are extremely new to trading, and some of you have been trading for 10-15 years. So you're all going to learn at different paces. I'm going to start off, getting everybody just comfortable with it. So it's, I guess, one of the advantages of you guys being here, like the first group going forward. And then obviously I'm going to ramp that up. Eventually it will get detailed, and then maybe next year I'm probably going to have a chartered level mentorship too. And that will be like my personal algorithmic backtesting. And that's when I'm going to take you into the charts and show you all the things that I'm looking at on an algorithmic level. So that's stuff that ICT mostly hasn't taught me. I've just learned. He's given me the information to go and research and delve into the charts and look for specific things. And when you do that for long enough, you get lots of light bulb moments. And many of you are going to have light bulb moments. You may have already had them through the academy, through ICT's YouTube, and you're going to have many more. And because you're all at different stages, you're not even going to sometimes realize it's a light bulb moment until later on, because in order for you to understand that was a light bulb moment, you had to answer 2 or 3 questions previous to the light bulb moment. So it's a very crazy way of how it works. And I still learn things after 4 years, over 4 years now of learning ICT concepts. I still learn things, and that's the beauty of journaling and backtesting on a daily basis. But this goes deep. The good thing is you don't need to go ridiculously deep in order to make money in the markets, and I guess that's our goal here. So I'm trying to focus this on how do we take money out of the markets, and how do we really trade using ICT concepts, not just the theory type. The theory was in the academy videos. Now let's apply that to real life charts and see how do we actually make money. And this is the goal. So this is a little bit of a longer one. I'm sorry if I've bored some of you. I promise you it won't be like this in the actual mentorship. But I wanted to get it all out of the way right now. Just study, work hard, have confidence in yourself. Don't be negative about you not being able to get it. You will eventually get it. All right. So with saying that, I will hopefully drop the first video on Monday next week. And yeah, good luck to myself. So let's give it a good shot. But thank you for taking the time to listen to this if you've gotten this far. And I'll catch you guys in hopefully the mentorship videos. Again, thank you very much for being here, and God bless.